So Tom, we got our hands on a Killzone Mercenary demo.
Yeah.
For the PS Vita.
It is.
We played it.
Yep.
What did you think?
So I was like totally scared of playing this game because I wasn't sure how those analog sticks would work for like a first-person shooter.
You haven't played a first-person shooter on the Vita?
Never played one before.
Okay.
I think this is the second, by the way. I thought it felt really good. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Like moving and aiming and shooting and whatever the L button does,
Aiming down sights.
Like that actually feels not as good as the PS3,
Yeah.
but it feels comparable. Like you're not going to be cursing the controller, you're going to be just kind of playing the game right away.
It didn't quite have the weight that Killzone on the PS3 does, but it also moved better than Resistance Burning Skies, which was the previous first-person shooter I played on the Vita. That one was just kind of floaty and I didn't quite like it. But this one felt promising from the one level we got to play.
Yeah, though if we're talking about controls, we do have to mention the big problem with the controls.
Which in your eyes is?
The touchscreen, excessive touchscreen.
All right, so for touchscreen, you use it to pick up items.
Yep.
To interact with things in the environment, like pull switches and whatnot. That stuff you can also do by pressing triangle. So did you try both?
So like to pick up ammo on the ground, you can either hit triangle or tap the screen.
Tap the button prompt that appears.
Yes. And then there's also melee stuff where you tap the screen to melee and then draw your finger across an arrow.
Yeah, and then
to
you
kill.
do
It's a little clunky, to say the least. And then just things like you have to tap enemies to kill them with this like heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, that was like a special power.
Yeah.
You get this thing you can equip, and it's heat-seeking missiles. And you tap the little red circles that are over them when they're in range.
Yeah, which I just didn't like putting my hands all over the screen because this game is just gorgeous.
Oh yeah. So it was. So there's two things, right? It's obstructing your view.
Yeah.
But then there's also, you're moving. You're doing that.
I don't like moving.
Yeah. It's like thumb extension is a little awkward. I found that I would use the triangle button for a lot of that stuff, and then it was just like the only thing you needed to use it for was like this one hacking mini game, but then also like the swipe to kill.
Yes.
The melee kill, which
Swipe to kill.
was generally just like blah, whatever. it'll be okay. But in terms of the rest of the controls, like the sprint toggle, I didn't like the crouching stuff. That's all on a button, whereas, you know, like in Killzone on the console, sprint is on a click on the stick, and getting behind cover is, I don't know, that just felt more fluid to me. Like the environmental movement, I liked better on consoles.
Yeah, I think they did a very good job for the most part of bringing that movement, but it just shows that there's some limitations, that there's not enough buttons to really do all that they need to.
Yeah, in that kind of comfortable way.
And they still kind of forced all that in there, so it kind of feels...
I have a question.
What?
Why didn't they use the back touchpad?
Oh, so instead of touching the screen, you wanted to just tickle the underside?
Yeah, let me tap the back. Or, you know, for that giant arrow that's like stab dude's neck this way. Why can't I do that behind here? Because then I could keep my thumbs and, you know, I could stay on the buttons and the sticks and just kind of do this on the back touch.
Oh my God, you're doing some origami with your hands. It's a pretty good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a natural fit just to have that option, but also, it's worth mentioning maybe that there are good options for analog stick sensitivity and also for motion aiming. Did you try that out?
No, I'm not good with that.
Me neither.
I think what they need to do, because I usually play on the train, voice commands. So I go, stab that dude in the neck, and then in the kidney, and then he dies.
Next stab, grenade throw.
Yes.
Shoot.
Reload. So that's the next thing they have to add, and I think it's good.
Oh, awful. But you still think the game looks beautiful?
Yeah, well, I'm not a huge fan of it artistically, but technically, the only thing I play in the Vita, and I play the Vita all the time, is like indie stuff or PS2 remakes or things that don't push the hardware.
Yeah.
I haven't played anything since Uncharted that looks like this, and I kind of forgot that this is basically a portable PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really sharp. There were numerous occasions, though, for me where it hitched up for a second.
Yeah, the frame rate isn't...
Do you think that, I think that's maybe a demo thing. I mean, it's hard to tell with this kind of thing what that ultimate tech experience is going to be like. But that was distracting for me, because there were a few times where, like, I was moving to aim, and then there was a hitch, and I shot the wall instead of the guy. But, you know, it's still able to play, to vanquish my enemies, and to feel like I'm playing a legit first-person shooter here on the Vita. So, reason to be optimistic.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you like Killzone or you just want a shooter on the Vita, like this is not Call of Duty declassified. Like this is
which was pretty terrible.
Yeah, like it's not going down that path. Like this seems like a legitimate, like totally cool, totally functional shooter, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely, was feeling good, was taking down enemies and feeling like it wasn't just a point and shoot thing. Like there was, I was getting into it in the way that I get into shooters. And, we only played one single player level, but from that, Killzone Mercenary looking pretty good.
We'll see. I guess later this year, Sony Cambridge. So we'll see.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.